The moment you finally get your ADHD diagnosis as an adult, something unexpected happens. You don't just feel relief, you feel grief. Here are 2 psychology and neuroscience facts about late ADHD diagnosis grief that will completely reframe every year you spent wondering what was wrong with you. And the last one, it genuinely moved me to tears. The grief that follows a late ADHD diagnosis is not dramatic. It is not weakness. It is one of the most documented and psychologically valid emotional responses in neurodivergent mental health research, and it has a name. Many people who receive a late ADHD diagnosis experience what psychologists call diagnostic grief, a profound mourning for the years spent not knowing, the relationships damaged by misunderstanding, the careers derailed by unmanaged symptoms, the version of themselves they could have been with the right support. This grief is not the same as depression. It is a specific, legitimate response to the realization that your entire life story was harder than it needed to be, and that nobody told you why. Adults who receive a late diagnosis often describe a period of intense emotion, anger at the years of misdiagnosis, sadness for a childhood spent feeling broken, and a deep mourning for the life that might have been possible with earlier identification and support. You are not being dramatic. You are grieving something real. Years of misunderstanding, mislabeling, and missed support are worth grieving, and the fact that the grief arrives alongside relief doesn't make either one less true. Try this. Write a letter to your younger self, the one who was trying so hard without knowing why everything felt so difficult. You don't have to send it anywhere. Just write it. That is grief doing its work. If this is the first time someone has put language to what you felt the day you were finally diagnosed, like and subscribe. Studies show that people who understand their own neurology make more compassionate and more powerful decisions about their lives. You deserve this knowledge. And here is the fact that completely broke me open, the one that changes what the grief means. Research consistently shows that the most significant predictor of positive outcomes after late ADHD diagnosis is not age at diagnosis. It is not severity of symptoms. It is not even access to medication. It is self-compassion. Adults who learn to reframe their personal history through the lens of their ADHD, understanding past failures not as evidence of character flaws, but as evidence of an undiagnosed neurological difference, show measurably better outcomes in mental health, relationships, and professional functioning than those who continue to apply blame-based narratives to their past. The research also shows this. A late diagnosis doesn't just explain the past, it rewrites it. Every job you lost, every relationship that felt impossible to maintain, every morning you couldn't get out of bed and called yourself lazy, every brilliant idea you couldn't execute and called yourself a failure, none of that was the truth about who you are. All of it was the signature of an ADHD brain navigating a world that was never designed for the way it thinks. And here is the most important thing neuroscience wants you to know today. It is never too late to understand yourself, and understanding yourself is where every real starting over begins. The last fact is the one that stayed with me, because it means the grief you feel after a late diagnosis isn't the end of the story. It is the first honest page of the real one. You weren't broken all those years. You were undiagnosed, and there is an enormous difference between those two things. Now you know, and now the real starting over can finally begin. Follow for more psychology that gives language to everything you have been living without words for.